Hey everyone, Hassan here, and I got another Power Rangers Super Megaforce review for you today. These are the new Double Battle Action Power Rangers. These have been out for a little while, kind of hard to find in stores, I think, but I believe I managed to get these online. I've had them for quite a while, but finally got a chance to review it. And we're basically coming full circle with this. You know, some of the first ever Super Megaforce toys were the Double Battle Action Rangers. Red, blue, and green. I remember these, and I remember thinking that they wouldn't, you know, I was like, oh, whatever, I would buy them because Super Megaforce, brand new, it'll be kind of cool. And I actually kind of liked them. I thought they were pretty fun. And now we're getting very close to the end of the Super Megaforce toy line, and we have the second wave of Double Battle Action figures. They re-released the Red and Blue Rangers, but they're now glow in the dark. And we now have the new Silver Ranger as well. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. So here's the Silver Ranger, obviously right in the packaging. And the thing about these figures, if you don't know, the double action is that you can move them in two different directions. There's a tab preventing it from moving, but I'll show you the full functionality when I get it out of the packaging. Double Battle Action Silver Ranger tells you the double action. So yeah, it's completely open packaging. Good or bad, because, you know, anybody can mess with the toy and that sort of a thing. But obviously, I guess, if you wanted to demo the toy, you kind of have to do something like that. You got the Silver Ranger right there, and it shows off all the different Rangers right there. Double action. All right, then we have the double action glow-in-the-dark Red Ranger. So similar packaging, except you see it glowing right there, and right there it'll tell you glow-in-the-dark. Brilliant. No, oh, that's not brilliant. It's just trying to say glow-in-the-dark in another language. Okay, never mind. Red Ranger. So yeah, I'll show you the glow-in-the-dark stuff, and we'll do a comparison and everything with the regular one. There's the Red Ranger and all that fun stuff. Ooh, look at that glowing action right there. Double action. And we got the double action Blue Ranger right here. Or the double battle action Blue Ranger, I should say. Glow-in-the-dark as well. Okay. Blue Ranger. Bam! There it is. Okay, so without further ado, let's get these open and take a look. Alright, we got the Double Battle Action figures out of the packaging. Here they are right here. So you can kind of get them to stand up if you really mess with their feet. Like, you'll see the Silver Ranger, like, his foot is like bent, kind of like that doesn't look normal, but that's really the only way you can kind of get them to stand up. So that's kind of one little gripe about the figures, is that they're not that easy to stand up. They're very top heavy because they kind of lean forward, and so especially with the weapons here, so they tend to fall forward a lot. But most of the time you're not really going to have these on display per se. You're just going to be playing with them. So here's the Silver Ranger up close. It actually came, there was this smaller piece, like this piece right here. As you can see, it was connected. There's like a separator right there. So you got to connect that onto the Silver Ranger. So now you have a full Super Silver Spear. And I think it looks awesome. The length of it is really cool. I love that they actually gave them this massively sized weapon. I think it makes it even more fun. And it is all just one solid color. Obviously, it being painted would be ideal, but I actually think it looks kind of nice, though, even though it is one color. It's got a good amount of detail to it for what it is. You know, these figures are not meant to be, like, super crazy detailed or anything. The figure itself looks nice. So in terms of articulation, the head does move, you know, left and right. And I think they did a nice job, you know, with the helmet there. Here, so this twists about, you know, that much, the torso, and then the hands and stuff, you can like rotate like this way or this way, so you can kind of rotate them. They have some swivel joints there as well, so you have a lot of posability there. The legs can also all rotate around 360 degrees, both legs, so you do have that posability. So from the back you have this little tab, and the idea is you can push it this way and he swings up, or well, you just kind of push down and you just go back and forth, and he swings his Super Silver Spear, as you can see. So, and that looks pretty cool. So again, because you can customize it, I can do it like this, and have him do that, and he just whacked down, you know, the Blue Ranger, and then I can go down the Red Ranger. Yeah, bam! Bam, bam, like bam. It's a lot of fun. You'd be surprised at how much fun I have with this thing. It's a lot of fun to just mess with it like this and see him go crazy with the Super Silver Spear. I just love the fact of how huge it is because I think it makes it that much more epic. I think kids will love this, like really, especially if they like the Silver Ranger. My one little gripe maybe is that he's more gray than silver. So having him actually be like legit shiny, I think would have been really cool. But that being said, it looks decent, and the actual playability of it is pretty awesome. I think it's definitely a really fun toy for kids, for sure. I think collectors, yeah, may or may not get something out of it, but kids will love it. And the hand does move up and down a little bit, by the way, there with the Super Silver Spear. So yeah, definitely a nice solid toy, for sure. Solid toy for kids. As far as the red and blue Rangers go, they're the exact same sculpts from the original releases. So obviously, again, the legs do rotate around. The head does move left and right. And you have the same, the Red Ranger basically has got the one hand is the blaster, one hand the sword. So bam, he in one time he sticks out the gun, the other way he'll slice with the sword. So you kind of have your fun there. And it's pretty neat, definitely a fun little toy. But again, exact same sculpt as the regular one. So if I bring in the original release right there, in terms of which one looks nicer, I think obviously the original one's gonna look nicer because it's got the gold right there, and the weapons are like a gray instead of like this whitish color. But that's because these glow in the dark. So this does have its advantages as well. So I will do the glow in the dark portion at the very end. So I'll show you what that looks like with the lights off. But just at a glance, obviously the original one looks better. But in terms of functionality, they do the exact same thing. But this one has the advantage of being glow in the dark, which is kind of fun as well for kids. So you can kind of pick and choose if the kid wants the glow-in-the-dark one or the more show-accurate one, I guess. Then you have the Blue Ranger as well. And I don't think that it looks bad either. So if you wanted something that looks somewhat decent and not completely show-accurate, but still pretty close, then glow-in-the-dark might actually be even better because you get more functionality out of it in a way. Blue Ranger, again, same exact sculpt and model as the original Blue Ranger release, but he's got the two swords, so one hand slices this sword, the other that sword. Bam, bam, bam. This one actually kind of hurts my hand if I do it from this position because the swords fly back and hit my finger. So you got to do it like this. And even then, the swords fly back quite a bit, so it kind of hits my thumb. That's the one little drawback about this figure in particular. Like it kind of does, if you do it a bit too much, it kind of can hurt your finger a little bit. I mean, not much, but it still is, kind of gets annoying. But it is also fun to see him go crazy with a sword, like bam, 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 bam. Like that's kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie. And again, Blue Ranger release right there, so same, kind of a thing there. It's like they're doing like a practice routine together, like 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2. Super Megaforce yoga with swords or something. I don't even know. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I think they look pretty decent overall. I actually, they're pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. These are the figures that actually surprised me the most initially with Super Megaforce because I thought they would just be these cheap whatever figures, and they kind of are. But at the same time, they're pretty fun. The little gimmick with the double action is actually quite enjoyable. So that pretty much covers it there. If you just wanted to see the actual regular Rangers all together, like the whole team, I'll just grab these guys. There's no glow-in-the-dark Green Ranger, unfortunately, so you just have the guys too. No, none of the girls either, which would have been cool to have, So unfortunately, there's your team right there. They all fit together pretty nicely, but would have been nice to have the whole team. I think that would have been pretty cool. So, last thing that I want to show then is the glow-in-the-dark feature on the Red and Blue Ranger. So let's turn the lights off and take a look. Alright, I partially turned off the lights, but I'm going to turn off this lamp right behind me now. Let's turn that off, and boom, here we go. So, here's the Red Ranger that I have right here, glow-in-the-dark. I find that, with any glow-in-the-dark thing, I put this right in front of the lamp for a couple seconds. If you put it in front of a bright light for a few seconds, it tends to glow even more, so that gives you an idea. So you see that the whole belt buckle glows, and the stripes along the chest piece there, along the jacket. The gun glows, the sword glows, and, it looks kind of neat like that. So Definitely pretty fun, I think. Camera's kind of getting a little blurry, but it's hard to focus when it's all dark, you know? And then the other figure is the Blue Ranger. So here's the Blue Ranger, who, again, the chest piece is glowing. You got the buckle that's glowing as well. And you have the sabers right here, too. I'm sure it's probably blurry, and I apologize, but it's kind of hard to show it, you know? I actually like the Blue Ranger a bit more in the glow-in-the-dark just because of how proportional it is in a way with all the swords. But it's still pretty fun, you know? Let's kind of turn the lamps back on real quick. So, yeah, you know, I think the glow-in-the-dark is a neat little functionality. It's not going to be anything, like, mind-blowing, but it's your traditional glow-in-the-dark light, basically, you know? So, you know, it's kind of fun, I think. So that's that. That's pretty much it, guys. This is the re-release of the Red and Blue Rangers in glow-in-the-dark and the new Silver Ranger double action figure. So these three are the newer figures. They've been here and there, so if you want to find them, your best bet is probably to look for them online, I think. Maybe your local store has it, but it's going to be kind of hit or miss where you end up finding these, really. I think Target was probably the most likely place where you might be able to get them. But if not, look for them online. So that's that. If you guys have any questions about them, please post them in the comments below. I got lots more Super Megaforce reviews on the way, so stay tuned. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bam, 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 bam.